Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Seller webinar. Today, we have another conversation about 4 different strategy for you to actually advertise and sell your house in today's market. Now, these I'm gonna go over the detail, the pros and the cons of each strategy that you can learn and then sell your house or talk to your agents about that strategy. If you do have any question in regarding to the today webinar, feel free to send me a comment, put a comment or send me a text, and I'm more than happy to answer any question that you may have. All right, with that, let's get started. All right, first of all, my name is Long. I have been a licensed real estate agent in Arizona for about 5 years. And I also investor myself as well. I'm investing in single family, multi-family unit. I'm dealing with a lot of clients, someone who is brand new to real estate or someone who is looking to purchase some $50 million multi-family unit deal. And during the process of helping them, I learned about these 4 different strategies, not only one, but actually 4 different strategies to help the seller, the property owners sell their house, depend on the situation. Because admit that, right? Not everyone's situation gonna be the same, and depend on the circumstances. Then different strategy may help you a lot as well. All right. With that, let's dive right into the table today content, right? We're gonna, of course, we're gonna go through each strategy. Number one is the active marketing strategy. This is basically the traditional marketing that every other agent on the market can do and can apply to help, if they do it right, can help you sell your house. Strategy number two is buy before you sell. This is a little bit less known to a lot of people. In fact, I just helped one of the clients sell their house in Gilbert, but before they do that, they have to buy another one first, right? There's a lot of stress during that process, during the process of buy another one and then sell the current home. So there's a specific strategy to help you remove the stress as well. Number three, creative financing. This term become very popular in nowadays market because the fact is the interest rate is so high. With creative financing, is actually helps the buyers and ultimately help the seller as well, having more profit. We're gonna talk more about that in detail. And strategy number four, this is less common, but for those of you who are looking for a quick sale or the house cannot be, or you don't have time to renovate your property, then this one is definitely the strategy that fits your need. Okay, with that, let's go into each of the strategy. All right. Strategy number one. This is an active marketing strategy. Like I said, this is a step that you actually hiring a real estate agent, okay, who has experience with marketing. They're gonna use a marketing strategy. They're gonna use a marketing plan to help to advertise your property, right? Marketing is is the process of making the product become known to everyone, right? So everyone, all the real estate agents, supposed to have a plan, a certain plan to help you advertise the marketing, and this process involve a real estate agent to help you with that. And of course, you're going to lean on not only just the marketing expert, but you also have them some soft skills like connection, negotiation skills, connection with other service people like cleaning, like handyman, like moving. They're gonna ask, you're gonna lean on them for the recommendation to help you with the moving process easier and smoother. Number one skill, of course, is still the negotiation with the buyer, right? So you have to rely on those skills to be able to not only just advertise the house, but also giving you the most profit as well. Remember, you always have to ask questions, right? Remember as well, if you have a family member and he or she just become a real estate agent, that means you have to use them, right? I mean, having a house is a very, very expensive assets that you have, and you don't want to risk to the people who doesn't have any experience. Of course, if he or she working within a team and he has a support from the broker, from the team leader, of course definitely lean on that expert as well, and support your family member, right? But always, before you use any real estate agent, make sure that you ask them the question to basically qualify, to see whether they fit with your need or not, right? And for that reason, you're gonna know whether you can trust that person or not. I do have the list of about 20 to 30, 20 to 25 questions to ask a real estate agent as before you sign any document to them. So if you are interested, shoot me a comment with your email. I'm more than happy to send it over to you. All right. But here are some of the suggested question, like, do you work as a full-time realtor? Because the realtor is some of the people working on like the part-time, and then maybe they work as a full-time somewhere else. So if that is the case, would they have enough time to service you, right? So that's the number one question. How many potential seller and buyer do you talk with in a week, right? Some of the agents cannot even close in a year. So would you trust in that person versus some of the agent close 20 or 30 deals within a year, right? So those are the important question to see whether that agent has a good reputation or have a good experience in this field or not, right? Um, what can you tell about the real estate market? Do they follow the real estate market or not, right? What price do you recommend for my home? How do you analyze, and then how do they determine the value of the home, right? Those are the steps needed so that the home value can be evaluated correctly, right? Those are some of the example. Like I said, if you are interested in receiving the list of 25 questions, feel free to let me know. I'll send it over to you for free. Okay. All right. With that, so the strategy number one is kind of boring because it's you already know. Some of you may try to, like, when I say strategy number one is actually active marketing, right? That means you don't have to hire an agent if you have experience in marketing and if you have the similar tool as well. Some of the people can do that themselves by for sale by owner. So all of that bucket is gathered into the strategy number one. Very typical, traditional. Most of you, I think 95% already aware of that things happening, right? Strategy number two is a little bit more creative. This is called, I call it buy before you sell. Okay. This is for the situation in which a person relocate to a different location, right? They have to move because of work. They have to move because they like the other location more, or maybe they have a change in the family and they need a bigger house and things like that. And hear me out. Normally, if you buy a house, you're gonna be stressful at level 8 out of 10. If you sell the house, you're gonna be stressful at level 10. But if you buy and sell your house at the same time, you're gonna be stressful at level 100, not 20, but 100, right? There's a lot of stress going on in that process. For example, oh my goodness, I have to see the house immediately. Oh, how many houses that I see today? And on top of that, I have to coordinate the time that I have to go out of the house to show the house, and what kind of work that I have to do on my house to make it ready, what kind of things that I have to be aware when I look at the new house. So there's a lot of things going on at the same time, and unfortunately, it's going to be really, really challenging for you to make the right decision if there are a lot of things happening at the same time. Okay, that's why I call the buy before you sell strategy, so that you can go buy the house first. Okay, go buy the house, go do step by step. Step number one, just go buy the house. Choose whatever the house that you want, spend as much time as you need to identify the good house for you, and then goes after you close on that house, then buy another then sell the house that you currently live in. Yes, it sounds simple, but there's some reason why it may not work, right? For example, qualification. Most of the people, 90% of the people buying a house, they gonna have mortgage, right? So family cannot qualify for two mortgages at the same time. Okay, because of the income, because of the debt, because of high interest rate, there are a lot of things that make them not qualify for the two mortgages, and therefore you cannot do this. Because, right, two mortgages meaning the current house and the new house, okay, at the same time, right? So you have to make sure that you qualify for both before you apply this strategy. If you don't have enough income, if you have too much debt, then you are forced to sell the current house first before you can buy another one. I know there's some a way that we can do simultaneously as well, but for this strategy to work, you have to qualify for both mortgages. Okay, so what are the solution for that person? There are two companies called Homeward and Easy Knock. Okay, and I know I'm sure that there are some other company too that do the same thing. So basically, even if you are not qualified for both mortgages at the same time, the company actually have the program that can give you access to their cash, and then you can use that cash to buy the second house, the new house first. Okay, and then later on, after you move to the second house, you are required to sell your house within a certain period of time before, otherwise they're going to charge you some fee, and there's a catch, right? Normally there's going to be 6 month period that you have to sell, otherwise they're going to charge you a high crazily fee, right? So that is the at the very high level of the strategy. The profit, the pros, right, is you can be less stressful in that situation. Like I said, you're not gonna be stressed as level 100, but maybe 10 or 10, right? A buy or sell always have a stress, but you don't have to be uh, double the stress as you buy and before you buy and sell at the same time, right? That's the pros. The cons is you have to make sure you qualify, otherwise you are charged a certain fee by using the program provided by Homeward and Easy Knock. But most of the time, the fee is about 2%. So 2% of the purchase of the new house. So it's not substantially high, in my opinion, and it's worth to risk the it's worth to apply that program so that you can remove all the stress that you can have during the process and make the bad decision and make the bad choice, right? Because most of the time, if you don't apply, you're normally gonna my clients is normally gonna be really rushed into making the decision of buy if the house they sell already under contract, or vice versa. If they already have the house to buy, they have to rush selling the house as quick as possible. Otherwise, the deal could not go through, right? So that's what my recommendation for strategy number 2. Now let's go to strategy number 3. Okay, in which this is the creative financing option. Okay, this somebody call some people may call this owner financing option or sub-to option. Everything is creative. Why is that creative? It's mainly because in through this transaction, right, you actually don't have to go to the bank. You actually don't have to qualify for the mortgage, don't have to submit any paperwork, like intensive paperwork, right? And then you just go directly to the seller. Okay, and the seller is actually become the bank to offer you that mortgage. Okay, sometimes it could, but why does homeowner have to do that? Okay, the two reasons that the homeowner can do it. The reason why, you may ask, like, why don't they just accept the big lump sum of cash upfront? Okay, So here's why. Number one, they may have a negative equity. Okay, this is, for example, you bought the house in May of 2022. This is happening to one of my clients too. Unfortunately, right? We never know what the market looks like. In May 2022, as the market is like we saw the previous months is going up and up and up. They bought a house, but all of a sudden it goes down. It went down in June, in July, and August, and September, and November, and move on, right? In 2023, it doesn't grow back. The home value goes upward a little bit, right? But it doesn't go back to the level of May 2022. So, for example, the client of mine, unfortunately, the neighborhood becomes really bad. When they bought it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong. But there's a new neighbor come into the neighborhood next to him, and it caused a lot of problem for the neighborhood. They didn't pick up after their dogs, and they caused a lot of noise. That's what I heard from the client, and he decided to sell. He decided to sell and to move to different location. But as I told you, he bought it at the peak of the market, and now it's not at the peak yet. I don't remember exactly the amount that he bought it for. Let's use an example, okay? 450. Now it's only 400. So if he decide to sell in the regular traditional method, he gonna be selling at loss. And not to mention there's some additional expense that he has to do as well. He has to spend during the cost the process as well, like agent commission or closing costs or repairs, if anything, right? So he basically selling at cost, and it's further cost for and it's more cost for those expenses as well. So in that situation, there's no way for him to sell at the conventional, regular, traditional method, or even buy before you sell, right? So that's why he has to apply the creative financing, right? So that we can make the benefit, make the profit, get rid of the house. First of all, he has to get rid of the house with the minimal amount of loss of expense. Right? I just use that as an example. In his situation, he actually didn't use creative financing. He chose another options because that one story. And then also when I analyze which strategy to best fit the homeowners, not only just the situation, but also what their need is. Okay, and then where the next house that they buy makes sense or not as well. So there's a lot of things to consider. So I fully disclose the information that I provide to you here is at a very high level. It's just only at the tip of the ice. Okay, if you want to know more about your specific situation, feel free to schedule a meeting with me so that I can talk to your situation and identify and brainstorming idea with you to identify which strategy is best fits you. Okay. The other reason why some of the homeowners do maximize do the creative financing is that they want to maximize their property worth. Why is that, right? For example, right now, if a homeowner, if a home buyer looking for buy a house, they have to pay interest rate of 7 or 6% interest rate, right? It's crazily high compared to 2 or 3 years ago. But if a homeowner, either they already pay the house off, there's no lien, there's no mortgage on the house, or they may have a interest rate about 2 or 3%. The homeowner can offer that interest rate 2 or 3% to the new buyer, okay, and then charge a little bit premium for the house. For example, in the example of my client, he could, instead of selling the house at 400, he could sell the house at maybe at 420, okay, and then offer them the low interest rate, the 2 or 3% interest rate, for example, because and then the investor is willing to do that. Why? Because the monthly payment, the monthly cost that they have to pay is much less compared to the high interest rate of 7%. Okay, so that's the reason why the buyer like it a lot. Okay, is it legal? What I just described to you, is it legal, right? And Well, the question is it illegal? And yes, it is legal. Well, sorry, is it illegal? And the answer is no. It is actually 100% legal. Okay, so if you ask me whether this method is a legal method, it seems to be a scam. Why? How can a regular person become the bank, and how can the regular person give take 2% interest rate, 2 or 3% interest rate for the homeowner, for the home buyer, right? It is legal, actually 100%. In fact, Arizona Association of Realtors has a specific addendum to the purchase contract if creative financing option is used during the transaction, right? So if it is not legal, the association wouldn't recognize it and wouldn't have the form specifically for it. Okay, only but the reason why a lot of people ask that question is because it's not a common method, and it may not be popular for everyone to know. Even the real estate agent, they don't even know of this strategy. Okay, so make sure if it is a strategy that you're thinking of, you have to ask for ask the expert in this field. Make sure that they can answer all the questions that you have as well. I still have a mortgage. Can I do this? And the answer is yes. Right? Yes, you can actually, like I said in the example earlier, if you have a mortgage rate of 2 or 3%. In fact, here's what are like 2 or 3%. There are two options for you actually. In fact, there's two options for you. If you have a 2 or 3% interest rate on the mortgage, you can either one offer the buyer the exact same mortgage. Okay, they can take over the monthly payment, and then you can walk away from the house. Or number two, you can also charge a little bit higher as well. So let's say, for example, the current mortgage that you have to pay has a mortgage of 2.5. If you sell the house, maybe you can sell the house at the regular market price and then charge them 3% instead. So on the monthly basic, you have a little bit extra interest payment to your pocket as well. So that could be an option. And people are willing to do 3% all day long, right? Because they, rather than that would be much better than paying for like the 6% or the 7% of the regular home if they buy in the regular process. Okay, why haven't I heard about this strategy? Right, this is like I said, this is not common in residential. Right, although it's very popular in commercial real estate, by the way, multi-family units, big building, big complex. It happens all the time in commercial real estate. Okay, you haven't heard about this is because for the previous years there's no need for it. There's just no need for residential because only like 2 or 3% interest rate. Right now, a lot of people want it because a lot of homeowners, in fact, 80% of the current mortgage of the homeowners that have a mortgage is having less than 5% interest rate. Okay, so that's for that reason the new buyer actually prefer to take over that rather than apply for the regular 6 or 7% interest rate. Okay, so that's the reason why. Last but not least, let's go through the strategy number 4 as an iBuyer. Okay, like to 4A and 4B because it's basically the same. It's basically you selling a house to an investor, but iBuyer is a company, a corporate who has a lot of cash from the stock market or from some other smaller investor, right? They have the they have the cash, and then they go buy the house with that cash. Okay, there are some associated cost with that program as well. So for example, Open Door is one of the biggest iBuyer in the market, every market in the US, right? The cost is normally about 4%. And then on top of that, you have to pay for the repair as well as needed. Okay, so there's a cost associated with that. The benefit is that it's fast and quick, right? When you have the price, when you have the number that makes sense to you, there's no more negotiation, right? That's it, and then it's just waiting to close. Okay, do you need an agent? Normally, you don't. Okay, in if because honestly, all the iBuyers has an agent on their end to help you, to guide you through the process as well. But please note though, that agent is from their end, right? It's not for your benefit. The agent is for the benefit of the company. And therefore, you should have an agent. However, though, you should have an agent with an experience in iBuyer service, because not everyone, not like I said, not all the agent going to be able to talk to an iBuyer to understand the process of the iBuyer, and they may not even with iBuyer service yet, and therefore they will not be able to help you. So choose the one that have experience and link. It could be me, right? Um, all the iBuyer company going to be the same? The answer is no. They're going to have a different process to make the estimate. They're going to have a different process from A to B, from B to C to close the transaction, right? They're gonna have the different process to evaluate the home and evaluate the cost to repair the home. So for competitive reason, if you choose to sell to an iBuyer process, right? iBuyer company, make sure that you get multiple estimate from different companies. Different company, like I said, are gonna have different price for you. And not only just do some with some big company, corporate company on the international scale, right? Open Door, Redfin. You can select some of the iBuyer, local iBuyer as well. We actually have some Arizona iBuyer, smaller in scale, but they also, for that reason, they make a more competitive offer as well. Next one is wholesaler. Okay. Now, before I continue, how is it profit for the homeowner? Okay. This one, fully transparent, it will not give you the most profit, okay? Because normally the wholesaler gonna be offering only about 70% or 85% less than the market value. The reason why they do that is that after they acquire the property, they're gonna go advertise to other buyers on the market in the network, and then the next buyer are gonna buy it, renovate it, and make it become the full market price. Okay. And for that reason, they cannot offer you the full market price. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to make any profit at all. Right. So here you go. That's the answer, right? So so to but then why you have to do that? The answer is simple. Either strategy for A or for B is mainly because you want a quick close. All right, you don't have time. Okay, that's the main thing, right? You don't have time to wait. Perhaps if you wait longer, your house is going to be foreclosed and you're going to lose all of your investment. Or the other reason is that the house is, unfortunately, after a long time, without maintenance, without any work done in the house, it's become very horrible, and you don't have the mean, you don't have the capital to upgrade the property to the condition that ready to show, ready to sell. And that's the main reason why. Okay. In what scenario is it most effective? Ideally, for quick home transition, like I mentioned, the timing is the number one thing that you want to try to buy as a homeowner, right? You want to quick. It could be done within 7 days as well, or it could be done within 3 days as well, right? It's quick and easy. You don't have to worry about any inspection, any negotiation going on. But keep in mind, your profit gonna be much less. Okay. So the next step is that I'm gonna go over a little bit high level about how I can help the homeowner determine what is the best way, what is how to appropriately select the best approach to sell the house, right? So for that reason, I'm gonna go over the high level, and because like I said, the fourth strategy that I mentioned earlier is mainly at a high level information. But normally, when I look at the situation, I have to consider the two factors. Number one is the net. Oh, sorry. Number one is the net proceed, and then the distress level of the seller. And then depend on the seller situation, depend on the homeowner need for the cash at the end, I'm gonna recommend the appropriate option. As you see here, the higher the stress level you have in the story, like I said, if you don't close within a week, you're gonna lose the house, right? It's very stressful in that situation. And for that reason, the cash investor gonna be the best option for that particular homeowner. But if you have time, it doesn't matter for you when you just want to sell it at the highest and best proceed. The traditional method is the way to go. So that is the chart that I normally use to present the information to my client, to my seller's client. As a real estate agent, I believe my role is to look at the situation that my client has and then help them determine, provide them the pros and cons of each individual selling strategy to help them make the informed decision of which one that they want to move forward with. Okay, some of them going to be good for creative financing, but some of them like, I don't want to do creative financing. I don't want to receive the monthly payment. I want everything now, done, get rid of my name. Okay, or someone gonna be, okay, I can have time, let's do the traditional method. I want to do it quickly, let's do it fast. Okay, so as a real estate agent with experience in 4 different selling strategy, I believe that is my goal, my commitment to help the seller determine the best solution for their selling journey. Okay, and then they can make the well-informed decision. If you do have a question on how each strategy works and whether you are a good fit for this strategy and that strategy and this strategy or not, feel free to set up a call with me. If you do have any question, of course, more than welcome to send in right now. Or if you review the video at another time, feel free to comment me or to send me a text message directly. My phone number is here on the screen, 602-515-2442. And I will be more than happy to answer any question that you may have. That's it for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And I appreciate all of your view. If you feel this information is helpful, feel free to send it over to your friends, to your families, and anyone that looking to sell. Thank you and have a good day.